The 1980s represented a period of challenges and transformations for the Bee Gees. After the overwhelming success of the disco era, the trio faced a changing musical world marked by new trends and the need to reinvent themselves. This period was defined by moments of hiatus, exploration of solo careers, and, ultimately, a triumphant comeback that reaffirmed the Gibb brothers' relevance in the global music scene. Amid personal losses and a climate of indifference in the United States, the Bee Gees proved their resilience by capturing new audiences and reviving their career with global hits that solidified their legacy. The early 1980s marked a transitional phase for the Bee Gees. After dominating music charts during the disco era, the Gibb brothers faced an adverse scenario in 1981. Media and public saturation with the sound that made them icons forced the trio to reinvent themselves. It was in this context that they released the album Living Eyes, a work that deliberately distanced itself from disco music and sought to explore new musical directions. Living Eyes was an album that demonstrated artistic maturity and undeniable quality, featuring songs with sophisticated arrangements and introspective lyrics. However, its reception in the United States was lukewarm. The American press, which had previously dedicated extensive coverage to the group, began to overlook their releases. The rejection of disco music contributed to the Bee Gees being practically banned from American radio stations, even with an album that contained no dance tracks. Interestingly, in Asia, Living Eyes found a receptive audience, signaling to the Gibb brothers that their global appeal remained intact, even if temporarily overshadowed in the West. With the relative commercial failure of the album, the brothers decided to pursue separate paths for a time, exploring their individual interests. Barry, Robin, and Morris devoted themselves to solo projects, each bringing their unique perspective to their work. Barry Gibb continued to demonstrate his talent as a songwriter and producer. In the mid-1980s, Barry collaborated with renowned artists such as Barbra Streisand, for whom he produced the album Guilty, 1980, and later Emotion. The iconic ballads and impeccable production cemented his reputation in the music industry, even outside the context of the Bee Gees. Robin Gibb, in turn, released solo albums that revealed his ability to create emotional and captivating music. He explored personal themes and experimented with new sounds. Morris, often described as the heart of the group, also ventured into solo projects, though he was more reserved about commercial releases. Morris dedicated his time to composing and collaborating in studios, reinforcing his role as a creative pillar behind the scenes. Despite their individual explorations, the Gibb brothers knew that the true power of their music lay in their unity. The late 1980s marked the beginning of their definitive comeback as a group. In 1987, they released the album ESP, which featured the hit You Win Again. The song topped charts in several countries, marking an artistic and commercial renaissance for the Bee Gees. The global success of You Win Again proved that the brothers were still capable of creating music that resonated with audiences. This resurgence was solidified with the following album, 1989, which included a tribute to their late brother Andy Gibb with the track Wish You Were Here. The loss of Andy in 1988 was a moment of profound grief for the Bee Gees, but it also served as a catalyst for them to reconnect as brothers and artists. The 1980s were a period of highs and lows for the Bee Gees, but also one of reinvention. Even facing rejection in the United States, the brothers maintained their relevance in other parts of the world and demonstrated resilience by adapting their music to industry changes. Their solo projects allowed each of them to explore individual passions, while their return as a group showed that the unity of the three was greater than the sum of its parts. This period laid the groundwork for the 1990s, when the Bee Gees solidified their status as living legends of music, recognized not only for their impact during the disco era but also for their ability to reinvent themselves and create timeless music. The Bee Gees were not just musicians. They were visionaries whose unique vocal harmony and emotional lyrics captivated generations. During a decade of challenges and losses, they proved to be an unstoppable force, redefining themselves and the music industry at every turn. Barry, Robin, and Morris's ability to adapt and create something extraordinary even in the face of adversity is a testament to the collective genius that united them. They did not merely survive changing times, they shaped new paths. Reflecting on their journey through the 1980s, it is impossible not to admire the depth of their artistry and the lasting impact of their music. The Bee Gees transcended eras and styles, leaving an indelible mark on the hearts of millions worldwide. They are, without a doubt, an eternal inspiration and a reminder of the transformative power of music.